All right. Ed, it's so nice to see you, man. Thank you so much for being here, brother, and making this awesome deposit to the community. Appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Thank you.
You bet, man. Thank you. So, dude, let's get talking about live video. It's funny because as we were just chatting a minute ago, I had mentioned to you, like, hey, it's interesting. On desktop, I'm seeing a lot of notifications for live videos.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm getting some for groups as well. But just kind of talk to me around the big idea around live video and why this is so important. And then we're going to get in your story a little bit. But let's just frame the conversation early about what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, for sure. So live video is the next best thing to being in person, right? So now in a world where it's all digital because of COVID and because of so many other things happening, we have to be able to embrace video more so than we have in the past. And it's exciting, but it's also scary, especially for those who, like myself at one point in time, had that video phobia, we call it, where you just don't want to be on camera. There's lots of different reasons why, but really being able to utilize live streaming because it is the way that we can connect at a whole new level here online.
It's awesome, man. Very cool. And so what have you started to notice? I mean, this has been a journey for you. So why don't we talk about, your transition from, being at Apple and then everything that's happened up to this point for you that's led to the point of you now saying, I'm like, my main objective is to specifically help people really find their voice. And by doing that through mediums and through platforms that are going to get high engagement. But tell us a little bit of your story and how it led to that point.
Yeah, for sure. So a little over 5 years ago, I decided to go all in on entrepreneurship for the first time. I'd been playing around with it in the past. In fact, this poster behind me is my first full-on business, which was a magazine. And it was exciting, but I never gave it my all. I kept working part-time jobs and everything. And so I like to joke that I retired at the age of 30 because I ended up quitting my full-time job at Apple to go all in on entrepreneurship and see what happens. And I started with web and I started with doing web design. But I knew that if I wanted to stand out, if I really wanted to make my business successful and to be sustainable, most importantly, I had to get in front of the camera. I was always the guy behind the camera, a journalism, communications major. I love marketing, all of that stuff. And so I was always the director behind the scenes. And to be putting myself in front of the camera was a whole new ball game for me. And it's one that I did not want to do, but I knew that I had to because it was the only way my business was going to survive. I
Yeah.
still remember having that talk with myself in my backyard saying, I have to get good at this live stuff because it's the only way my business is going to make it. Plain and simple.
That's awesome. So really you're teaching people from an experience you've had yourself and one that has, really helped you develop not only the skills that are required in order to get there, but also, it's really, really foundational for you as you've been growing your business. So, let's go through maybe like, 3 to 5 things. Let's go through kind of these action steps that people can take around creating videos and specifically going live. I know one of them is like overcoming your video phobias, building authority, becoming recognizable. And there might be another few tips, big ideas that you want to share. But let's start with this whole video phobia idea because I've heard of this a lot. Now you'll understand, right? You know this, but about me, I don't know what that's like. I've been creating videos since I was 11. So, I mean, being a part of that whole experience, whether in front or behind the camera, it didn't matter to me. It's been something that's very natural to me, but I understand that's not everybody's scenario. So what's the whole deal with the video phobia?
Yeah, so video phobia is really that fear of being on camera, right? There's many reasons. One might be you don't like seeing yourself in front of the camera. You don't like seeing yourself on video. You may not like hearing yourself on video or on audio. You might feel like no one's going to want to watch you or hear what you have to say. Like there's so many things that we tell ourselves inside of our head that prevent us from actually stepping in front of the camera. So a lot of it's with mindset. So that's why I love working on the mindset piece first with clients because that's a huge one where we have to get over what we're telling ourselves because honestly, we're really not that bad when it comes to being on camera. We think we are, but we're not. And then another part of that videophobia is really understanding that it's not about you. Like,
Mm.
yes, you have to show up and you have to deliver some information, but it's not about you. It's about what you're representing, what you're sharing with your audience, even if you don't think you have an audience. Because let me tell you, everyone has an audience. I didn't think I had one when I first started out. Trust me, I was thinking, wow, nobody's going to show up to my lives. What am I going to talk about? Like, all of these things I kept telling myself, but I forced myself to get good at this, to be on camera and to expect very little to happen from it, because it was so new and I didn't know what I didn't know, right? And there's nobody teaching you how to do this stuff. Even today, there might be people out there that will tell you to go live. They'll kind of show you how to go live, but they don't really show you the big picture, right? I'm all about making things simple, easy, and making it easy for you to, show up, deliver, and engage, which are my three things.
Love it, man. Dude, that's awesome. And that is the point, right? It's really just showing up, delivering, engaging. And so, we're actually going to get to some Q&A in a little bit. So if you guys are watching right now and you have any questions that you want to ask Ed while we're talking through this, please feel free to engage in the comments and drop any questions that you have. So I get that fear and judgment of other people, and that is a huge stumbling block. In fact, for most people, that probably is the thing that they need to work through. They may not identify that right at the beginning. It's like, I don't do live videos. It's not what I do. But in reality, the impact, the influence, the income that they're leaving on the table, because there are those limiting beliefs, whether it's I'm not good enough, nobody's going to listen. I mean, we all have to break through that at some point, especially if you're building an online business, and certainly even people who are in the coaching consulting space in corporate now, because you don't have the opportunity to go to the conferences and meet with people. So, I mean, the timeliness of Coaches Go Live is actually it's actually unbelievable. I think you're going to really impact a lot of people's lives. So let's talk about building authority in your sleep. Let's talk through that, man. Talk to me about that whole experience.
Yeah. So the beauty of Facebook Live, and of course, let's just pause for a second, and because there's going to be, all of you are going to be watching, obviously, here on Facebook or wherever else this may be shared. But let's back up for a second, because there's a couple things that will come to people's mind for the most part. And you can let me know in the comments if I'm wrong, but usually it comes to, I don't have time to be on camera, to go live. Like, time is the factor there. And then the other one is really, I don't really care for Facebook. Like, I know Facebook's good, like, for business, and I'm there, but I spend my time on Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever, right? And so we want to make sure that we get that, we understand that, and we also have to understand that Facebook's still the #1 platform. Love it or hate it, it's still #1. And it's actually still really good for small businesses in terms of being able to have your business page, to be able to have live videos like what we're doing here and what we're talking about on your business page, because that is what's going to build your authority both while you're live and while you're sleeping. These videos live on. That's the beauty of it, is that your video doesn't just disappear or is harder to find or whatnot. It's there on your business page, and Facebook will continuously push it out for you organically. Now, of course, if you're going to do ads or whatnot, you can always boost that up with those ads, but we're just talking straight organic here. And I will tell you, I've had people who have found me from a video that was 2 years old, and they're just now seeing it for the first time, and it's still relevant. Like, that's powerful. And so really, we have to understand that, again, it's not just about going live on Facebook. It's about stepping back and understanding there's a bigger picture there, and understanding that there's a bigger plan. It's part of your marketing plan, right? Mm-hmm. This strategy is what takes you to that next level, and it was what consistently builds your authority while you're sleeping. And it's so simple and easy to use.
It's awesome, man. Love that. Love that. And so, when it comes to authority, it's audience and authority. You need to have, if you have a great idea to share, you need people who will listen. So, on the opposite side of what you're saying and what you're mentioning here right now, the becoming recognizable, becoming a prominent figure in your niche, in your industry, or even within your audience, so the people who are part of your Facebook group, or they're part of your business community, or whatever it may be. I know that leads to a lot more opportunities. So what is it about being top of mind, about being recognizable, that you feel like live video helps people with the most?
Yes. So being top of mind is obviously key when it comes to marketing, right? And if we step back again and look at the platform that we're using, so in this case, it's at Facebook, and we look at what does Facebook actually want from us? Because remember, it's free for us to use, but there's a price that we have to pay. And obviously there's so many different answers to that, but we're basically having to play by Facebook's rules, okay? And we have to understand that what Facebook wants and what they'll reward us for is going live. So when you utilize Facebook Live, you're signaling to Facebook, I get you, we're on the same page here, I love you. Maybe I don't, but I am today, and I'm gonna give you what you want, right? We're gonna be happy here. And then Facebook says, hey, we appreciate you. We're happy that you're giving us some love, because we want you to go live, because we know that on average, going live, or most users, I should say, spend at least 3 times as much time watching a live broadcast than a pre-recorded. Facebook wants us to stay on the platform. So when you go live, you are giving it what it wants. In return, it's going to give you some love. Now, let's just say this. It may not be the love that you're hoping for with a 50,000 reach or whatever that number in your head is, but it's still going to give you love both during that time of the live broadcast and after. So that's what we have to remember.
That's powerful, man. Very, very good point, and very strong point. And that is the big idea, that the distribution quality of live video is way higher. And, these platforms are gamified. And it doesn't matter what platform it is, but they're gamified. The more you put into it, you ever noticed, if you start friending a bunch of people, then all of a sudden you're starting to get a bunch of friend requests at the same time, or the people that you're direct messaging, you end up seeing more of their videos inside the newsfeed. There are reward-based systems for time spent on platform, and for you doing what they would prefer that you do when it comes to the type of content that's being produced. So freaking incredible, Ed. This is really, really helpful. And I know a lot of people are getting value from it. So let's just go to the comments real quick. If you are watching right now and you have questions for Ed, Ed is an expert specifically in live video, getting more confident, getting your message out there through this individual medium. Okay. And Ed's a great educator. He's incredibly smart, and one of the best people who I've met when it comes to his process, specifically on the back end of how he can really help you amplify your message in a very methodical, hold your hand step-by-step way. It comes with, for me, my highest recommendation. And he's got a heart of gold. I just love you to death, dude. You're an incredible human. So why is now the time where people need to start creating maybe a system around this? Like you were mentioning earlier, part of their marketing strategy, having intentionality around live video. We've already gone through the points of like distribution and all of that, but what other timeliness factors should people consider?
Well, we have to look at the data as well, right? So 97% of consumers go online and find local businesses or services. 97%. So right there, we already know that you have to be online. And then I'm going to go into some other statistics here because it's super important, and it really makes that tie-in for everyone, I think. 70 to 80% of people research a company online before ever visiting them or buying from them. So when we hear that, we have to understand that we have to have an online presence. So hopefully everyone watching this or listening to this has at minimum a website and a Facebook business page. Notice I said both, a Facebook business page and a website. You can have every other platform you want. I don't care. The more the merrier, but remember, you still have to manage all that, or somebody on your team is going to have to manage that. But let's just stick to those first two, website and business page. Those two are important because typically when you Google search, when you do a Google search for yourself or somebody's Googling you, typically one of two things will pop up on the first page for you: your website and or your Facebook business page. When people click, because they're doing that research before they reach out, they're going to click and they're going to check you out. If they go to your website, they're going to want to see your social. If they go to your social, they're going to want to also see your website. So you got to make sure that you have those in line there. And that's why I say the business page is so important. Again, you don't have to love Facebook. And I know that there's so much about, organic reach is dead and all these things. But again, we're not playing on that level. We're going to that next level, which is thinking bigger, thinking outside that box. And we're really building that authority like we talked about earlier. So we have to understand that. And then going back to the stats here, 80% of social media users would rather watch a live video than read a brand's blog post. Now that doesn't mean don't write your blog posts. That's part of your marketing, right? But that means that you need to start incorporating live video. And there's a ton of ways you can do that. Of course, that's part of that strategy we were talking about. And that's what I teach my clients, is really how to streamline that, because it's not one or the other. It's being able to utilize both of those avenues for your marketing. Another thing about video is that on average, and this percentage is probably much higher now because of the pandemic, video gets 21.2% more interactions compared to an image. So there's so many of us, right? How many? You can raise your hand on this one, drop an emoji, but how many of us are always constantly trying to get the right image with the right caption, and we're stressed out, or our team's stressed out for scheduling and posting all the time to try to keep up with the Joneses here on social, that we're not even thinking about video. We're not even thinking about this personal moment that we can have with our audience, that our audience can have with us. I'm not saying don't do those pictures and captions. Again, it's combining these different things underneath that marketing plan of yours, under that strategy, and really making sure that you show up in a new way. My whole thing is helping you market differently. And by doing so, you have to be able to put yourself out there. And trust me, I know it's hard. I was there. It is not easy, but when you have the right guide and the right person by your side, it's a game changer. And it's not just for your business, but it's also for your personal growth. Because doing this live streaming for the past 5 years has grown me exponentially for business and my personal growth. Because before I started my business, I would not be doing this, especially not as often as I do it as well.
Dude, wow, that is so stinking powerful, man. And it's so true. There are these elements and a lot of things that I talk about when it comes to content production, that scale, right? What I'm definitely hearing you say, first of all, is live video is the best format in order to engage with your audience digitally, period. End of story. It's the number one way to do it. So that's a key takeaway for everyone. The other side is, I've often referenced this big idea of unmuting people, unmuting them. And so when you can kind of like unmute somebody, their passion and their ability to create more transformation and all these different things, there's so much opportunity once we can get you out there to the world. And again, that is one of the best in the industry, but specifically best person I know who can help you develop the confidence and the strategy and all the technical elements. And like, he has all the heart behind it, but also has all the science behind it so that you can go do your best work. And be it that this is the number one way to get your message out online, and also to connect with people, to not only generate more opportunity for your business, but also to create deeper relationships. Guys, this whole thesis goes, content builds relationships, relationships build trust, and trust drives revenue. If you never knew Ed before, well, now you do. And I'm sure you trust him a lot more too. So that's a huge thing, man. That's awesome. I'm going to jump to some Q&A.
Sure.
We got some questions. Any reflections before I go there?
No, I think that's good. I think you just need to move your mouse, because if people are watching this, they're probably seeing like the mouse is like up in my nose. Just this is
Yeah,
live.
that's
That's what I love. That's why I love live. Listen, I've tried the pre-recorded. You know, I had somebody who had me do a pre-recorded for their TV show, and it was one of those moments where it was so hard to do pre-recorded. I love live because anything can happen, and you have so much going on. And actually, that was my mouse. My bad. But you know what I mean? Like that. That's
yes.
the beauty of this. And so when you're watching this, and when you're thinking about, you know, the perfection of being on camera and the production and everything, listen, listen. We remove all of that. We take that pressure off. It's not. It doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be that much of a struggle. It doesn't have to stress you out. And I will tell you, if I can do this stuff, I, you certainly can. And like I said, when I started, I didn't have anybody. I had to figure all this out on my own. And now we are in a world where now you have somebody, right, who's gone through it. And in a few minutes, we'll do bring out the whiteboard and do a little.
Come on, man. That's awesome. Yeah. You know, what's cool too, Ed, for you is like you have the A to Z concept, but you go A to B,
yes,
B to C, C to D. And you're one of the best coaches who I've seen do this process, because it's not ethereal. It's actually very practical with the support that's required to get people over the finish line. And I mean, that's why we're on this live today, is because you have the integrity to lead people through a process they can complete that is absolutely going to transform a very significant part of their business if they spend time online, which again, timeliness of this is that everybody has to. The competition is going way up at this point because there's so many people now consuming content online, and you got the election, all kinds of other crazy stuff. So anyway, I'm going to get to two questions, and we'll get to the whiteboard here in just a second. So the first question from Neil is, let me go ahead and just, I know that he had one. Did it disappear? Oh, I have 5 comments here. Hold on one second. I can't see it anymore. I think what he was asking was the best places, or the places specifically where you stream.
Yeah, where I stream personally.
Yeah.
So I start everything on Facebook. Simple. I stream to Facebook and YouTube, but my starting point is Facebook. And
Awesome.
that's the big idea, right? Again, you can use all of these platforms. You can be on all of these platforms, but when you're doing it by yourself and when you are trying to dominate all of them at the same time, you're really going to be stressing yourself out, and you're really going to have a hard time doing it. And so that's why you need a plan. That's why I always say go live with a plan, because there's a way and a method to be able to dominate all of the platforms without stressing yourself out.
Epic, dude. Love it. And Jeff asked the question, what do you think the best way is to integrate this video content with your actual store platform? So I believe that he has more of like the e-commerce style business. Do you display live videos that you're creating and repurpose them on product pages? Do you put them on your homepage? Do you create an education part of the store? What are some ideas on that?
All of the above. But no, so this is a really great question, Jeff. So, and I love it because I actually didn't tie in this last bullet point of the statistics. So well done. You were reading my notes. I love it. So 60% of people want to see you showcase a product or service. So this is perfect, because when it comes to a store, both online and offline, you want to be able to showcase what you have to offer. And for those who are just service-based like myself, you can still showcase services that you have through video. But let's stick to this example for Jeff and talk about the fact that if you have those products, you need to be featuring them. You need to be able to showcase those and talk about them. You know, I have my terrible old case here, right? It's actually falling apart as we speak. But let's say you're selling cases. You can do a video, a live video, talking about the latest case that came in, why it's handy, you know, why you like the red tab because it pulls out and it has your wallet. Like, talk about it. I have one client who does promotional materials, business cards, you know, lanyards, all kinds of different products for businesses. So that way you can have your promotions, your information on there and give it out to people. And it's awesome to see. She never did video before, and then she started doing the live broadcasts. And now she is going live every week. She's showcasing something different. The other day, I loved it. The other day, she randomly popped on outside of her normal time for going live. She popped on and she showcased the lanyard trick that she learned because, you know, we're at home now, or, you know, we're not really out at events and stuff. But when we go out, we have to wear our masks, right? And so she realized that there's another purpose for lanyards and showed how a lanyard can hook onto your mask. So when you're not wearing it, your mask is hanging down kind of like glasses would. And when you need it, you just pop it back on. And it was genius. And it was so fun to watch how excited she was and just showcasing that. So the video is huge, and doing that live is so different than pre-recorded, because with pre-recorded, again, we have that mindset where everything has to be perfect. We have to have everything dialed in. We need to have a script, all of that stuff. When it comes to live, it doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it really shouldn't be perfect. You don't need the scripts. You need a plan. Remember, we need that plan. But it doesn't need to be perfect. And as we saw in this one, you know, I had my mouse in the wrong spot, so it looked like I had something in my nose, like whatever, you know. It's relatable though. So you might have been laughing during this. You might have been commenting. You might be watching this on the replay and commenting. You might even say, dude, you have something in your nose.
On your face.
Yeah. So, you know, it's like you have to have fun with it, and just understand that you just get to keep rolling with it, right? Where pre-recorded, it's like it has to be perfect. And if you mess up, oh my gosh, it's over. Like it's bad. You can't, you know, interact with it or anything. And so again, it comes back to just being you. Be you, and utilize live streaming video to build your audience, to be able to build that authority, and to really grow you and your brand online. Because again, we're not worried about those numbers. Those will come. You know, when I used to work at Apple, I used to always tell people, because they would always worry about, you know, the sales and everything. And, you know, you have different metrics and stuff that you need to reach. We weren't on commission, but, you know, you still have sales that goals. And I always told people, you know, don't worry about it. It's okay. I got it. Because I took my time with my customers. I mean, listen, I had people that waited over a half hour in the store just to work with me, even though they could have worked with anybody else, and it didn't do anything for me. Like they knew that I wasn't getting like commission or anything, but they still wanted to work with me. And I tell you this because I always told people, and I still tell them this, don't worry about the numbers. Those will always come later. Worry about showing up, delivering, and engaging with your audience, with your clients. And those numbers will follow. And they did. I mean, I was the #1 sales guy for the last year that I was there by a long shot. So, you know, don't worry so much about the day-to-day numbers. Worry about the bigger picture. And that's really, again, goes back to, it's not just about going live on Facebook. It's about that bigger plan and knowing how to do all the steps in between.
Roseanne says, Apple homies for life. Ed is the real deal, people. And that's so true. I love that. And you are the real deal, man. And I'm so appreciative of you. All right, dude, let's get to the whiteboard. We got another 10 minutes or so here left. So Ed's going to bust out the whiteboard and show us maybe some tricks, some hacks, and things that we can do. Let's see what you got up your sleeve, dude.
Yes. So, okay. So I always like to frame Facebook Live / Facebook in general as a TV station network, right? So we're just going to do a little bit of info here. Make sure I can see that. So TV network. This is going to equal Facebook. And by the way, like I tell my audience, don't judge me on my drawing, of my handwriting. I'm a tech guy. This is not my area.
You're a typer, not a writer. There you go.
Yes. So now the network is your Facebook. It's just Facebook in general. Then we have your TV channel. Oh, sorry. Actually, we need to go station.
Yep.
Which is your Facebook business page. And then we have your TV channel, which is you live. Okay. So understand that we're now looking at Facebook no longer as really a social media network. We're looking at it as a TV network, one that we don't have to pay for, one that we don't have production costs or have to pay for our station. And then we have our channel where we can distribute pretty much whatever we want when it comes to our videos. That's why you're seeing so much of a push online across the board, but specifically on Facebook for live video. Why you're seeing series come up, right? And I love it because let's just say this. If you need to reference anybody else, go check out Mari Smith, who's the queen of Facebook. And I think it was last week or the week before, she had one video where she was talking about Facebook series and how basically they want us to be our own TV network. And I was watching it and I was like, yes, because you may not know who I am right this moment. You might just be like, there's this crazy guy that was on Nick's show. He's got some great hair. The curls are popping, and he can somewhat, magnify the drawing here or whatnot. But, I don't really know this guy, but I know Mari Smith. So go check out Mari Smith and she'll tell you the same thing. So it's not just from me, right? So that's why we have to understand what's going on here and how we can utilize this. And so I want you to ask yourself, and this is going to be an exercise that we'll do together. This is something that I do inside my Coaches Go Live program with clients. But I want you to take this exercise, and many of you are probably watching this on your phone right now, so you may have to wait till later because we don't want you to leave us. But I want you to step back for a second and ask yourself, are you going live? And if you're in the comments, feel free to let us know, yes or no. And if you're not going live, why? Why are you not going live? This is totally open conversation. And your answers will benefit others who are browsing, because I know you're out there. They're what we call our secret followers. You're tuning in, you're consuming, but you're not engaging. And that's okay. That's okay. No offense taken yet, but we want you to pop up every so often because it lets us know you're there. And it also helps with the conversation, right? Because let's face it, that's what this all is about. Live streaming, Facebook, social media, marketing. It's all about starting or joining the conversation. That's all it is. That's all it is. So coming back to that exercise, what I want you to do, and this, you don't even have to, this is not going live. I just want you to do this one exercise for yourself. And you can always let me know how it goes. Send me a message, tag me, whatever. But I want you to grab your phone. And if you're watching us right now, again, do this tonight. But I want you to grab your phone. I want you to open it up. Go to your camera app. Slide it over to video. And I want you to hold up your phone. And I want you to just talk. Introduce yourself. Say hello. This guy, Ed, told me to pick up my phone and talk to it. I feel super awkward. I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, whoa, in, out, whatever you got to do it, record it. And here's the thing. Don't delete it. Do not delete it. And then what I want you to do is I want you to watch your replay. Watch that replay and see and hear that video. And now I recommend probably doing it the next day, not right after, but you maybe do it both the right after and the day after, but it's super, super important for you to watch that replay. And I'm not going to tell you why. I'm going to let you figure that out, and you can say it in the comments. But I want to leave you guys with that piece of the puzzle: is watch your replay, and really don't delete that video. You'll thank me later, I promise.
Wow, it's huge, man. Such an amazing point of reflection, because everybody's coming from different backgrounds and different experiences, right? And for you to encourage people to this level of show up in this way, challenge yourself in this way. Remember, the entrepreneurial journey, guys, is the highest commitment to self. And you remember this as well, that you're always willing to do more for other people than you are for yourself. You've got to find a why. And right now might be like, you know what? I'm going to trust Ed. I'm going to do it for Ed because he's out here. He's coaching me. He's giving me this awesome advice on how I can show up to create more significance in my life and that of my business. So maybe you're going to do it for Ed. Maybe you need to do it for, your future client that you don't have yet. Or maybe you need to do it, specifically for a parent that you had who had a, incredible, thing that they wanted to accomplish in life. And there was a resistance point that they didn't overcome. Maybe you need to set the example for your kids. If you have kids, maybe you need to set the example that like when things evolve and change and you need to step to the next level, that like you rise to the call of action and you have them maybe go live with you in one of your videos, whatever it is. Humanity is an important thing to bring to business. You'll notice it more now than ever. It used to be very taboo to like have conversations around politics or conversations around, your personal life within business. Sorry that those days are gone. Just look at today's conversations around politics.
Right.
It's gone, and it's important to share those worldviews and those values with others. So Ed, this has been phenomenal, man. Like, thank you so much. At the end of the day, man, what do people need to do? What's the next step for them? And how can they maybe get in contact with you or maybe talk about your program a little bit that you got coming up and let's chat through that.
Yeah. So start with that exercise. If you're just getting started with the idea of going live, or maybe you've done a couple lives, but hasn't been consistent or felt good, really start with that. Of course, I can help you out with that inside my program, Coaches Go Live, which is just now launching. It's a new program that really teaches you that A to Z hand-holding between A, B, C, right? Like going through every step. There's 5 steps that I teach you, from being able to get through the mindset piece to working on time management, figuring out when to go live, because your excuse, that's right, excuse is going to be, I don't have time. We will find time, trust me. And then we go into filming and kind of what to be paying attention to. And then also the simple tech, because here's the thing. You've probably seen and heard, have these expensive cameras, get the expensive lights and the mics and all this stuff. And you're using those as excuses as well, because you're not going live because you don't have XYZ. We don't deal with that. We get you to go live, and we show you how to go live from your phone and the computer. So that way you're covered in both places and you can get as low key or as fancy as you want. And then my favorite part is that distribution part, that what I call the live effect. And it's what happens after you go live and how you can start dominating the other social platforms from just that one live broadcast. So that's part of the whole Coaches Go Live, which you can learn more at coachesgolive.com. You can start a chat with me over there as well if you have questions. But coachesgolive.com is where you want to go, and really just understand that by watching just this episode, every live is an episode, by the way, just by watching this one episode, you're already one step closer to overcoming your videophobia, and you're one step closer to making a greater impact with your audience here online. So just remember that.
Incredible, man. I love it. I think this is phenomenal. And thank you so much, man, for your contribution here. And yeah, dude, this is incredible. I want to encourage you, anybody who's watching right now, if you have an online business, or honestly, if you're a consultancy, you're a coach, you're a consultant, you're an expert, you're a mentor. Yeah, there are a lot of coaches, just as far as Ed's frame, who he's helping with this process. But I want you to know it's not limited to coaches. If you're an expert in a category, if you are an influencer in any sort of way, this process is very dialed in, and it really helps you start, again, allowing yourself to go from that idea of best kept secret. There's something locked inside of me. There's something I know I need to put out there into the world, and get you into that stage of producing content at scale that really is going to help develop and grow your business. I know I'm sure as hell going to go create a lot more live videos. I'm thinking about, man, how can I do this every single day? I'm on the opposite side of like the threshold, right? Because it's like one of those things that I know it's important, but you've just brought back to remembrance today of it's not important. It's actually urgent. This is an urgent problem that needs solved. because at every single day, like I said at the beginning, there's more content being produced now than ever, and it's more competitive than ever. And it's time to just get this dialed in so that you can give, again, the world your best work. So thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you. And I love that you brought that up too, because that's the beauty of live video, is that it's so universal and you can use it anywhere, anywhere. And we talk about that inside the program. So yeah, I appreciate you, and thank you for having me here. It was awesome.
Dude, anytime, man. Anytime. All right, guys, go over to coachesgolive.com and check out Ed's training. I encourage you to sign up. It's going to be an amazing experience that he'll lead you through. And that's the big idea, dude. So well done. Excellent job. Thank you again so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
All right, bro. See ya. Bye-bye.